Let me say something that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. Eren Yeager didn't become a monster. He became the truth. The truth that Paradise was always going to be destroyed. The truth that the world outside the walls had already decided his people deserved to die. The truth that freedom, real freedom, was never going to be given. It was always going to have to be taken. And the moment Eren understood that, really understood it, he stopped being a character in the story. He became the story itself. Today, we're not asking if Eren was right or wrong. We're asking something much more dangerous. What if he was the only one who was ever truly honest? Welcome to The Story Smith, where we forge the stories behind anime's greatest characters. Today, Eren Yeager, the boy who wanted freedom, the man who burned the world to find it. Let's get into it. To understand what Eren became, you have to understand what Eren was. Not the founding titan, not the rumbling, just a boy behind a wall who couldn't stop looking at the sky. Most kids in Paradise accepted the walls. They were safe. They were home. The walls were all they'd ever known. But Eren looked at those walls and felt something nobody around him felt. Rage, not fear, not comfort. Rage, because somewhere deep in him, before he even knew why, he understood that the walls weren't protection. They were a cage. And then his mother died, eaten in front of him, while he was carried away screaming, unable to do anything. That moment didn't create Eren's anger. It confirmed it. The world was always going to take everything from him. He just finally had proof. For 3 seasons, the basement was the Holy Grail, the answer to everything. And when they finally opened that door, what they found wasn't a weapon, wasn't a map, wasn't a secret army. It was a diary, written by a man who knew his children would inherit his curse. And what that diary revealed changed everything. The people of Paradise weren't the last humans. They were the most hated humans. Outside those walls, a world existed that had spent decades teaching its children that Eldians were devils. Subhuman, dangerous, worthy of extinction. Eren didn't just learn where he came from. He learned that the world had already decided how his story ended. And here's where Eren's psychology breaks from every other character. Armin saw the basement and felt hope. Maybe they could talk to the world. Maybe they could change minds. Mikasa saw it and looked to Eren. Whatever he decided, she would follow. But Eren saw it and felt something colder. Certainty. Because to Eren, this wasn't new information. This was confirmation of what he always felt. The world was the enemy. It always had been. The Eren we meet in Marley is not the Eren we grew up with. He's quieter, colder. He sits in a foreign country surrounded by people who call his kind monsters. And he listens, observes, calculates. This scene alone tells you everything. Because the old Eren would have been furious, would have wanted to fight immediately. But this Eren understood something the old one didn't. Rage without strategy is just noise. So he waited. He planned. He let everyone around him, including his closest friends, believe he was still the same person. He wasn't. And the most psychologically disturbing part of Eren's arc isn't what he did. It's how long he carried it alone. He saw the future through the founding Titan's memories. He knew what was coming. He knew what he was going to do. And he still sat across from Armin and Mikasa, still laughed with Historia, still let people believe there was another way. Because to Eren, there was no other way. There never had been. Here's the uncomfortable question that Attack on Titan forces you to answer. Was Eren wrong? not morally. Set morality aside for a moment. Was his reading of the situation wrong? The world outside had weapons pointed at Paradis. Marley was already planning another invasion. Every nation that knew about Eldians either wanted to use them or destroy them. Diplomacy had been tried by Armin, by Historia, by everyone, and the world responded with a declaration of war. Eren looked at all of that and arrived at a conclusion that was cold, brutal, and devastatingly logical. If they come for us no matter what we do, then the only variable I can control is making sure they can never come for us again. That's not the thinking of a madman. That's the thinking of someone who stopped lying to himself. And that's what makes Eren the most psychologically complex character in anime history. He's not Thanos, killing for balance. He's not Light Yagami, killing for justice. Eren is killing because he genuinely believes it's the only language the world understands. And the most disturbing part? The world spent the entire series proving him right. Here's what Eren Yeager actually represents. He's not the villain of Attack on Titan. He's the mirror. Every person watching this show rooted for him in Season 1, cried with him, raged with him, wanted him to break free. And then when he actually did it, when he actually chose total freedom at any cost, we called him a monster. But ask yourself honestly, if you were born behind those walls, if you watched your mother die, if you opened a basement and discovered the entire world wanted you extinct, what would you have done differently? That silence you're feeling right now? That's what great storytelling does. Eren didn't become evil. He became the logical conclusion of everything the world did to him. And Hajime Isayama, the man who wrote this story, had the courage to follow that logic all the way to the end. Even when it was ugly, even when it was uncomfortable, even when it made the hero the most terrifying character in the story. Because that's the truth Attack on Titan was always building toward. There are no pure heroes. There are no pure villains. There are only people, shaped by a world that was never fair, making choices that the world forced them to make. Eren just made his louder than anyone else. That's the story of Eren Yeager. Not a villain, not a hero, a mirror. And the reason his story hurts so much is because somewhere in it, you see yourself. Drop a comment right now. Was Eren right? Not morally, just was he right? I want to read every single answer. I'm the Storysmith, and I'll see you in the next arc.